First thing I'm going to do though is show you here. I have a bell pepper. It's a medium size, and a larger onion. I was going to get a medium onion, but I thought, well, you're going to be serving 4 people, so I think a little bit bigger onion is something that you could use. So I'm going to peel the shrimp, and then I'll start cutting that up and showing you how to cook it in a pan. You need a large skillet, and you need a lid, and then you also need to make some rice, and I was going to show you how to make rice. This is a jar of pimento, diced pimento, and if you were going to make 1 pound of shrimp and maybe just for 2 people, I would say get the smaller jar, but this is the larger jar of diced pimentos, so it's going to be a little bit bigger batch, so I decided to get that, and I'll show you how to do that. I'm hoping that you know how to peel shrimp. 16.9 ounces of peeled shrimp. That's a little bit over 1 pound. Okay, took me about 30 minutes to peel those. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put that peeled shrimp back in this colander like that, and then we're going to kind of spray it off a little bit. There's my cayenne pepper. And I sprinkle on there. Mix it up a little bit. Flip them around. Sprinkle a little bit more on there. Make sure you get some on each of the shrimp if you can. And if you put too much, it's going to be too hot, so that should be good right there. I'm going to turn it to about, I don't know, about a 7 or so to let it start heating up. Now I'm going to cut these vegetables up. All right. First I'm going to cut the onion up. Good. I go ahead and turn it way down to like a 1 until I can get all the vegetables in there. As you can see, we got our onion in there. Now we're going to cut up, and got to take the sticker off. Bell pepper can get kind of nasty, so I always start at this stem and try to get out those seeds as much as I can. Because he's got a lot of seeds in it, so that's the thing about these bell peppers is when you cut them open, you got to rinse them off, get all the seeds out. This is just the way I figured out the best how to do it. And if for some reason you get a seed or 2 in there, it's not going to really matter. It'll all cook in together. Okay, then you want to turn this up a little bit to about a 6 or a 7. Let's go with a 7. Get the heat going again. Start to kind of spread it around a little bit. Just like that. You take your pimentos that are diced up in a jar, open it up, and you dump the whole thing into the pan. Mix it up again, just like that. Garlic. roasted garlic. It's minced, it's in a jar. And I'm going to use about a teaspoon, I guess, something about like that. You just dump it in there. Okay, now we see it starting to sizzle a little bit. Go ahead and turn the heat up a little more. You get it sizzling real good. And you want to simmer this, stir it around, you mix it up real good, and you just simmer it until it starts to get soft and the onions are more clear. Okay. You want to be sure not to burn it though. Okay, I'm going to turn the heat down a little bit more, about to a 6. And while that's doing that, we're going to get our roux out. This is what I'm going to use for the gravy part of it. Okay, I got about 1.5 cups or so of cold water. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and put 3 tablespoons of this roux mix in there, in that water. 1, 2, 3, and I think I'm going to go with 4. Okay, about 4. And I just mix it around, stir it around, like that. Now let's stir this around a little bit more. Starting to cook good. I'm going to turn it up to a 7 and cook it a little bit hotter. Now this roux mix in here, you want to just kind of keep stirring it until it completely starts to blend in with the water. And you're going to set it aside. I'll set this over here. I'm going to just set it right there. Now while this is cooking, you can start your rice. This Mahatma extra long grain. I'm going to measure 1. I think I'm going to make 2. Make 6 cups of cooked rice. Okay. Okay. Dry rice. That's 2 cups. Now you want to put enough water in there to cover the top of the rice by about 1 inch. Okay, that's about 1 inch or so. Stir this around a little bit more. Once you get the water in the rice, turn it on high to boil. And I put just a very small amount of vegetable oil in it, just about like that. I use canola oil. And I take a small amount of salt, about like that. Dump it in there. While you're getting the rice to start boiling, you want to stir it so that the rice doesn't stick to the bottom of the pan and start to burn. You want to boil it until the water is equal to the level of the rice. Once it's at the level of the rice, you turn it all the way down to low, and you put the lid on it. And you cook it for 15 minutes, and at the end of 15 minutes, you turn the burner off and let it sit for at least 5 minutes. But do not take the lid off. Okay, this is starting to get, as you can see, starting to cook down a little bit better. Gradually getting there. Okay, and you can see how the roux mix has settled to the bottom over there in that water. Every now and then you can stir it if you want to kind of keep it mixed up. Okay, as you can see, the rice is starting to boil. You can turn it down a little bit. Stir it around. I want to keep a good steady boil on it though. And that's coming along just fine. Get nice and soft. Onion is starting to get clear. It's steadily boiling. When you stir it after now after you stir it, you don't feel it sticking to the bottom like it was. Here's the shrimp. So I had bought about 1.5 pounds of shrimp, and we peeled it, and it took about 1/2 pound off that weight and gave us 1 pound of pure shrimp. So that's what you got to think about if you want to buy raw shrimp and peel it. You're going to get less than what the pounds say on the package. If you buy the frozen shrimp that's already been peeled, then you get a full pound of pure shrimp. So, keep that in mind. And it's a lot easier to use frozen shrimp that's already been peeled and already been deveined and everything. And when you use shrimp that's frozen and already peeled and it's raw, you don't have to thaw it out before you use it. You can dump it right into the pan frozen and it cooks up just fine. Okay, so here is the rice. And you can tell the rice is just about ready to be covered up. The water is about at the same level that the rice is. Can't really see it in the video, but that rice right there is ready to be covered. So I'm going to cover it with a lid. And then I'm going to turn it down to sim, which is like between a 1 and a 2 right there. And then I'm going to set the timer for 15 minutes. Okay. And then you don't lift the lid on the rice, just let it cook. And this just about ready to be for the next step. Taking this mixture, stir it real good, get it mixed up again. And then just pour it in. Okay, that's what it looks like. Just kind of stir it up a little bit. And you want it to boil up again. Okay. Notice how this is boiling up again now? Kind of stir it. You want it to thicken. I want to get this thicker. Doesn't take too long for it to thicken up. It's just starting to thicken up. And as you can see, it's simmering and boiling pretty good, and the temperature is still set at 7. In a minute, when we put the shrimp in, it's going to get real liquidy again. You got to cook it back down. But you want it to thicken up a lot more than this, a little bit more than that. It's not too long and it'll be ready to put the shrimp in. Now you want to just keep stirring it occasionally. Keep it mixed up. That way you can kind of get a feel for what the consistency of it is. Hi, babe. That's Lisa. She just got home from work. She's working out.
Hey, Mandy.
Yeah. Well, this is a video that she'll see later. As you can see, it's blending in really good. Starting to thicken up real good. Lisa said it smells amazing, and it does. You can smell it really good. Fills up the whole house. And now we're going to put the shrimp in. We're going to keep it boiling just like that. I'm going to put the shrimp. Take the shrimp that you've already peeled it, you've seasoned it, and now you just dump it in. Okay. Then you stir it around. It should stop boiling. You sort of just kind of fold it in. Okay. And put it in there like that. Now, bring it to a boil again. After it comes back to a boil, that's when you put the lid on. Just like that. Put the lid on it, and then you turn it down to like, I don't know, about a 3. Turn it down to a 3, and you just let it simmer there for about, I don't know, about 30 more minutes, but it'll be ready. But you want to let it cook. It'll liquefy up a little bit, and then you'll take the lid back off, and you'll cook it down again, and it should be ready. So we're going to leave it like this for a few minutes. I'm going to set the camera down. I'm going to stir it. I'm going to stir it in real good. Well, there's the timer for the rice. So I'm going to turn it off. The timer. How you do it? Cancel it. Okay, and then I'm going to turn the burner off of the rice. I'm just going to let that sit. Right there. I'm just going to stir this in a little bit more. Okay. Now I'm going to put the lid back on. I want to make sure all the shrimp is covered up as best as I can. I'm going to let it simmer. Now if you notice that after you put the lid on it, it's not really boiling or anything anymore, turn this back up a little bit. Turn it up to a 5 and get it to boil some. If you don't have a glass lid, you could pick the lid up and see what it's doing. But you want it to be simmering under that lid. Now I have it simmering. It's starting to boil a little bit. See? So I'm going to turn it back to a 4. I'm going to leave it at 4 for right now. Okay, let's see what it looks like. Shrimp is starting to cook, you can tell. Shrimp is cooking. Just stir it around a little bit. And you feel it's gotten a little bit more liquidy. But you want it to thicken up more. You want to push the shrimp down in there. You want the shrimp to cook. Cover it back up. Okay, let's lift the lid on it again, and we can see that the shrimp is getting smaller because it's cooking. It's cooking all that moisture out. And I think we can leave the lid off of it now, and we can cook it down. You go ahead and turn it back up to like a 6. And get it to start to boil the moisture out and thicken up again. Once it thickens up, it'll be ready. Our rice is done, but I'm going to leave the lid on it until we're ready to serve. Boiling down, thickening up. Now at this point, it's really up to you how thick you want it. So to me, that's just a little bit not thick enough. I like it to be thicker. So That's why I'm boiling it down more. Okay, Mandy, once it gets to this point right here, it's pretty thick. It's done. Okay. It's done. You can turn it off. We'll leave the lid off. And just let it cool down a little bit. It'll thicken up even more. As it cools off, it thickens up. I probably could have used some more shrimp. Probably could have put another pound of shrimp in there. But for the most part, that's what it looks like. Now I had some rice that I made previously that I heated up in the microwave. Rice keeps real well in the refrigerator, so I heated this up in the microwave. I was just going to eat it tonight. So you take a bowl of rice, no, and then you just spoon it over the bed of rice, just like this. Some gravy and some shrimp. Okay, that's what it looks like. Manger. Give it the taste test. Mmm. It's very good.